What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on Nootropics. Thanks so much for being with me. So we're going to talk about Aniracetam and how it is a super nootropic in my opinion. But importantly, where I think this video is going to be useful for you folks is I'm going to explain 5 ways that I use it. Surgical ways to use Aniracetam that really amp up brain performance situationally specifically. In the meantime, if you would like access to a powerful nootropic stack, courses that teach you how to use nootropics no matter which stage you're at, and or you need me to formulate your regimen, your morning regimen, your test regimen, your nootropic regimen, pay attention to the following products. Number 1, Cortex Nootropic Stack. Extremely potent stack. I mean, yours truly built that stack back in 2015. Ships to 40 countries. Amazingly powerful motivation, focus, verbal fluency, energy nootropic stack. Get it at livecortex.com because if you do on subscription, you get smarter, better, faster for free. Look, if you're new to nootropics, I created a course for you. It's called Nootropics Ground Zero. It is for people that are brand new to nootropics. Stop rummaging the web for information and getting conflicting data on how to use nootropics just to get Nootropics Ground Zero. Now, if you're in a year or so or a couple years and want to ascend to the 6-year mark, I mean, this is high-level expert nootropics stuff and results, get the Nootropics Masterclass, okay? Get that video course. At the highest level of nootropics courses is the Nootropics God course. This is the 10 to 15 year mark. Just imagine what kind of results you can get with that course. It is incredible. Go get it, livecortex.com. Lastly, I've got slots open on consulting. So if you'd like to work with me, I'm usually the guy that gets the call from the big business executive or entrepreneur that really needs good brain function, needs to fire on all cylinders, and needs someone to put a regimen together, a daily regimen, a nootropic regimen, a sleep regimen, a test regimen, whatever we have to address to fully get you firing on all cylinders. Go to livecortex.com, go to the consulting tab, and check out our consulting options. I would love to work with you. Okay, so Aniracetam. Yes, it is a super nootropic. I've been taking Aniracetam in a variety of ways since like 2010. When I first got into nootropics, which was like 2007, 2008 timeframe, Aniracetam was like right on my list, right? It was a prominent nootropic used by a lot of people that were discussing this at the time, like Tim Ferriss and Dave Asprey. And so obviously I had to get into it. In fact, it was like my second major stack that I experimented with had Aniracetam in it. So I've been using it for a long time in a variety of ways. To date, it is one of my favorite nootropic compounds for inducing working memory, enhanced general mental processing, and motivated drive to do work. It helps me compartmentalize my thinking when I'm like needing to section things out in my brain into their own like silos. Oh wow, are we getting a storm? We're like literally getting a storm. It's a tornado, everyone. A tornado's coming. And generally, it's a really awesome nootropic compound to have in the arsenal. So quick, let's talk about mechanisms, then I'll talk about my use cases. The primary thing is forcing hippocampal choline release. Hippocampal choline release. So what that translates to in terms of effects is your functional working memory will be a lot better. And so generally your processing speed, your cerebral processing capacity is going to be a lot better. Like you're more capable to do work or whatever it is that you need to be doing that falls into the category of productivity. The other thing that's doing is it is an AMPA receptor allosteric positive modulator. So it's binding to the AMPA receptor, which is a glutamate subtype that fosters LTP and working memory, but it's doing so in a way which won't really create desensitization of the receptor. That's allosteric modification of the receptor site. So 2 really powerful things that Aniracetam is able to do. It's neuroprotective in a variety of ways. The predominant studies on this are scopolamine-induced. Scopolamine is like an anti-cholinergic, anti-memory agent. In the presence of Aniracetam, scopolamine really wasn't able to sort of temporarily damage the cholinergic system. Aniracetam was neuroprotective in that regard. So let's get to use cases. I'll start with my first one, which is kind of a common theme on this channel that I like to talk about, and it's a really smart strategy to be using nootropics, and that is in your morning regimen. So I will explain. Sometimes I use Aniracetam in my morning regimen like the following. So my morning regimen these days is 500 milligrams of quercetin, 25 milligrams of zinc, B complex, 100 milligrams CoQ10, a dose of krill oil. It's 500 milligrams NAC, 400 of Alcar at this point, 3K IU vitamin D, and then 500 milligrams of Aniracetam. I definitely don't do this every day. I'll just do it maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week. It's really just a great addition to my baseline. So on top of my morning regimen, I'll just throw in 500 milligrams of Aniracetam. If I keep the dose at 500, I do not need a choline source for this. So in addition to the morning energy that I already have from waking up and sleeping well and having good energy and having coffee, and then taking those other supplements and Alcar, like I have on top of that, just more energy in the mix to work. And it puts my brain in a capable state. This is really important. Not that I'm not capable prior to that, but like if there is a large set of to-dos for me to execute as a business owner or whatever in my life, it makes me more willing to engage in doing that work because my brain is a lot more capable, right? Via the working memory and energy enhancement. So it just puts me in a place where the capabilities of my brain are better, and so I want to attack things that are more complex. That's a very important concept. That's number one use case for the super nootropic of Aniracetam. Number two use case is medium dosed with other racetams and a stimulant in the mix. Okay, medium dosing it with other racetams or similar compounds, but also with a stimulant in the mix. So I'll give you a stack example, and this is one of my favorite stacks. It's 400 milligrams of Aniracetam, 300 milligrams of oxiracetam, 5 milligrams of Noopept, 50 milligrams citicoline, 75 milligrams of teacrine, and then 50 milligrams of theanine. Okay, this is one of my favorite stacks, and it's geared toward looking through client stack sheets, like stack lists with my clients and doing adjustment work. So like we may have a stack that's hitting pretty awesome, but when it falls off, there's like a tad bit of fatigue that's happening, right? So I've got to adjust that stack to figure that out, whether it's the stack or it's the, you know, the baseline energy, or it's something that a person did at 2 p.m. They ate a kind bar and it, you know, like fussed with their blood sugar or whatever. Like going and looking into adjustments with client sheets on nootropic stacks, my brain has to be functioning pretty awesomely. And taking a stack like this puts me in a place where that is a lot easier. Solving large complex problems with clients, right? Relating to physiology. A stack like this makes that process easier. Going and looking at some of the really, really deep issues that I work on, like PSSD and like Adderall burnout, etc. It makes it a lot easier when my brain is functioning at this capacity with Aniracetam and these other constituents in this stack. And then like content for Cortex Labs. Particularly though, like some of the products, books. Right now I'm writing the big book on nootropics, which is every single nootropic known to man, dose ranges, mechanisms of action, how to stack them, and then stacks with each individual compound. And I'm also writing Sticky Brain, which is a book on how to use nootropics for focus. So like that stack there is a great stack for me to be executing that type of work. That's number two use case for Aniracetam. Number three is an odd one. Some of you might find this a little odd, but it works. Look, when I don't feel like writing a list for groceries, okay, sometimes I write a list on what I need. I look in the fridge and I go, oh, on my phone, I'm like, okay, I need blueberries, I need strawberries, I need bananas, I need lemons, I need asparagus, I need salmon, whatever. Sometimes I don't do that. I don't put the list on. Like, if I know that like I really don't have time to do it or I'm sort of in a rush, I'll just take 300 milligrams of Aniracetam by itself. And this is assuming I didn't have it in my morning regimen. Just 300 milligrams Aniracetam by itself. I'll take a look in my fridge. I'll look at what needs to be purchased, what I need, what I'm out of. I'll look at my cabinets and look at what I need, analyze like what I'm eating for dinner that day, and literally in that moment, those moments really process in my brain and store what exactly I need from the grocery store. And then when I go to the grocery store, the Aniracetam is obviously still there. I had encoded it into my working memory. So when I'm there, it's just a lot easier. I don't actually have to work from a list. So when I go to the store, sometimes I work from a list, right? But times when there's just like too much to do and I'm kind of in a rush and I don't feel like writing a list or want to work from a list, I'll literally just go and have a look at everything, know what I usually get and what I need, and then go to the store and remember it all, and then just boom, plug through the aisles and get what I need to get. It sounds silly, but it's actually a really awesome use case for me. I don't have to write a list when I take Aniracetam. Number 4, for a nighttime regeneration stack. This is the 4th use case that I use the super nootropic Aniracetam, a nighttime regeneration stack. So like 6 p.m. comes around and I may need to work from like 6 to like 11 or midnight, at which time I'll take a stack like the following: 300 milligrams Aniracetam, 10 milligrams Fasoracetam, this is important, I'll get to that in a second, 20 to 30 milligrams of citicoline, and then 200 milligrams of oxiracetam. That's kind of like a typical nighttime regeneration stack for me. It just gives me the energy and processing to feel as if my brain is renewed from the work and the execution and the really the exhaustion of resources that I may have engaged in earlier in the day. And also, interestingly, like resets my decision fatigue. So like if I've been making decisions all day, which I mean, business and being an entrepreneur and being a professional is characterized by making a lot of decisions throughout the day. So I definitely get decision fatigue. This stack clears my decision fatigue, like to the point where it's like I almost feel like I just woke up. Like there's a reservoir of decision-making capacity you have when you woke up versus you've worked all day, right? And this stack clears up my decision fatigue so that is renewed, and generally my energy is renewed for that latter period in the night. I have Fasoracetam in the mix there because like I'm going to sleep at in these cases, if I'm working to 11, probably midnight. So I just want to make sure that the stimulation and that sort of extra drive that my brain has, like all the neurons firing from working, is able to be toned down when the time is right? So like having Fasoracetam in the mix, even at a low dose, and somewhat control over the GABAergic system, it's just easier for me to consciously wind it down after my period of work, okay? The last strategy is a cool neurohack, like a cool kind of nootropics neurohacker type of strategy. And that is similar to the caffeine nap strategy, where right before you're going to take a nap during the day, you consume caffeine and then quickly try to fall asleep, and then you wake up like energized and still having the caffeinated state because you've blocked the adenosine receptors and muffled tiredness for a brief period. Aniracetam kind of functions the same way, just different neurotransmitter receptor sites, right? Like you can execute this strategy. So what I do is I take 300 milligrams of Aniracetam right before a nap. You know, it'll usually take, again, 20-25 minutes to fully onset. So like I'll take it and just like get right to bed, lay on my stomach and lay down. And like I have a mental process by which falling asleep is easy. Like there's a certain couple things that I do. I start picturing things and thinking about certain things in my life, and that just puts me pretty much right to sleep and gets me in that, you know, imagery zone where like it's starting to get psychedelic and you're like seeing images in your head and you're like, okay, I'm falling asleep. Then when I wake up, I have something comparable to the sort of caffeine nap strategy, where like the stack is hitting, or the Aniracetam is hitting, and I wake up and I'm like refreshed from the power nap. My power naps are anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And I'm like, holy crap, like I feel great. And then I get up and it almost feels like a new part of my day. Like it, you know, naps are a big contributing factor to that, but the Aniracetam contributes as well. And then I'm like, wow, I'm just like ready to do whatever it is that I have to do, okay? So those are my 5 strategies. Those are my 5 use cases for using Aniracetam. I've been using this stuff since 2010. I literally love it. I love Aniracetam. When I think about it in my head, I picture like colors and stuff. Like it just makes me feel good thinking about it, because the use cases and the type of brain function that I can achieve using Aniracetam in these 5 ways is amazing. I honestly think it's like God's gift to like people, Aniracetam. It's such a very powerful compound. And if you notice, none of these situations I'm dosing it at 700 or plus milligrams. Like I don't usually dose Aniracetam that high. I may, if I have a really super hard day of work that's going to consist of 8 hours of all kinds of different processing and cognitive endurance, in which case usually there'll be modafinil in the mix and then Aniracetam at like 600 or 700, choline source, go to town. Okay, hope that's been useful. Do not forget about Aniracetam. It is a powerful, powerful multifaceted, extremely useful nootropic compound. And now you have good use cases that you can employ and put into practice with the validation that me, a 15-year nootropics expert, uses Aniracetam this way. If you would like access to a powerful nootropic stack that turns brain performance on, video courses that show you stuff like this and way beyond on how to effectively use nootropics, but importantly, get good brain performance from them, or you'd like to work with me and have me formulate your regimen, check out the following. Number one, Cortex stack. Extremely potent nootropic stack. I built it myself, for myself initially. Then I was like, wow, holy shit, this is a very powerful stack and this has to be a commercial stack. Get the Cortex nootropic stack at livecortex.com, because if you do, on subscription, you get Smarter, Better, Faster for free right now. If you're brand new to nootropics, again, I created Nootropics Ground Zero literally for you, because I know what it's like to be brand new, and frankly, I wasted 3-4 years. Without the information in that course, I wasted years of time getting inconsistent results. If you're new, stop rummaging the web, just get Ground Zero. If you're a year in, couple years in, even 6 months in, but you really want to ascend to higher levels, get the Nootropics Masterclass. That'll take you right at the 6-year mark, which is characterized by better results with nootropics. The highest level course on nootropics is Nootropics God Course. This is not for the faint of heart. You can be in a year or two or even 6 months, but you need a general baseline understanding of nootropics before getting the God Course. But if you have that, this will literally skyrocket you to the highest levels of results and usage. I mean, we're talking about proper formulation, proper adjustment, effective rotation schedule, inducing states on cue, very high level nootropic stacks that are intelligently put together. Get the God Course, livecortex.com. Lastly, I have slots open on consulting. I am the world's foremost expert on nootropics, and I usually get the call from business people, entrepreneurs, even nootropics enthusiasts that are like IT folks that need to function better and that would like to have me formulate their regimen. Nootropic regimen, energy regimen, daily regimen, test regimen, sleep regimen, whatever we need to work on. Included in these consults is post-Adderall burnout, so those of you that are having dopamine issues and need help with that over a long period of time, go to the livecortex.com. In the menu, you will see a consulting tab. Click on the consulting tab and look at the options, and let's work together. Thank you so much for being with me, everybody. Go get some Aniracetam and use it wisely. Talk to you next time.